right. As always, here's the risk disclosure. Trading futures is risky. Know what you're doing before you do it, and you can lose all your money. Also, this live stream is not intended for financial advice, simply for educational purposes only, and the stream is not intended to copy my trades. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Sorry, I'm a little bit late here. My son has basketball tryouts today, so I had to give him the little pep talk. Let's see. All right. Morning. How are y'all doing? See what we have going on here. Markets come down quite a bit. Back in the 10,000s. Still choppy? Yeah. We have unemployment claims coming up here in about 10 minutes. See if that does anything. Yeah, it looks like we're chopping on this minus 0.5 dev here. Especially on the 50 tick. We had a 4-bar chop. Now it's kind of in a 2-bar chop. All right, let's see what is 10,816 is the low of the day. So just hit that not long ago, about 30 minutes ago, and that's where it laid that new flux level. Let's see, right here. You can see on the 30 tick. After it broke through this minus 5 dev, we have a ODD of 23%. Double cluster there, kind of chopped around a little bit. Headed back. I wouldn't take a short in this area, though, unless if it broke even lower. Because this could be, we don't know if this could be the bottom or not. Good morning. Might be getting a simplicity short here in a minute, but I'm willing to bet if it comes down into this zone down here, you might hesitate or chop around a bit because we have those double clusters on the 30 tick, which would be right in this area, right under this COI. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to the dark zone now for the 8:30 news. It's a medium impact news, but it'll probably still have enough in it to make us move around some. Yeah, you're welcome. That's kind of my goal, and actually that's when I first started doing even just my recordings. Was my goal was when I think in my head while I'm watching these charts, if I verbalize it, and say it, then just another, I guess, insight of or another perspective of how someone could read the market using these tools and what's worked for me. But a lot of it I've gotten from Lori. She pretty much took me under her wing a while back. So a lot of the reading I've gotten from her. And then I kind of applied the LREs to it. Yeah, I saw that he's going to be speaking to generally news events from over there, Europe, Germany, all those places don't have much of an impact on our market, but some things will. So I usually still like to see once a news item comes out or somebody like that is speaking, just kind of a caution in case if the market does something weird. Yeah, and I figured with my live too, at the time I go live, I know some people do trade the same time I do, but a lot of people wait till the open. So it's a good way to, like you said, kind of get into the mental side of it. Okay, now it's breaking that ZOI. Again, it's still hitting those double clusters now. So I'd expect it to hesitate around here. We are getting close to the news. 3 more minutes. I know I say this all the time, but these order prints they still are so amazing to me. It sets you up to have expectations of what could happen in the market, and then you just wait and see if it happens. Check if there's any. There's not many areas on the 30 tick that I would be eyeballing for the market to go to when it's had such a run down. I mean, you could see this whole zone that we're in left a lot of scattered order prints, which could mean chop. The only other thing I really see is, maybe these double ZOIs up here, but they're not really close enough together to be as strong. So if it did get up there, I'd expect it to chop. We have a crash way up here at 944.75. Oh no, that's not a crash. That's settlement. A ZOI on settlement. That's quite a bit away. So yeah, not much going on the 30 tick right now. Yeah, pretty empty down below. So when that happens, and I'm looking for an LRE, like I mentioned, I would want it to break, give us a new low before I look for a short. Oh, there's the news. And then on its way down, I would like it to leave order prints behind. That way it'd come up and test them, since there's no order prints down there now.
Double cluster NQ.
And for those of you trading later after the open, we have that 10 o'clock ISM news. So that should be pretty high impact. You can see the 50 tick chart here, just chopping on this dev. This deviation, -5 deviation. So definitely want it to move away from here.
Double cluster NQ.
Yeah, so you can almost draw out like a little range here. Pretty much this top area where these mini magnets are on the 30 tick cluster and this low. I'm really not looking for anything in between at the moment. And that is what I enjoy about LREs, is that you can anticipate pretty well where you need to be to start looking for a trade. So it's less, in my opinion, for me, it's less, stressful. You have not as much anxiety to take a trade. So that's what I like. All right, we're back to hitting the first cluster down there. This is really I guess technically this would be the third try around these clusters, so it only really tested the lower one once, so it still could hesitate around this 820 to 822 area if it comes back down here. I'd expect it still to give a little bit of trouble if it comes down here before it broke short, if it does. I don't really see any reason why this thing should just stay in this little zone today or the rest of my trading session. You know, the other days there was other news items that were coming out later to keep the market choppy, but I don't expect that to be the case today. Of course, we never know. When Simplicity's looking the way it's looking right now, it's telling me to sit tight.
Double cluster NQ.
All right. Okay, I like this mini magnet. The 30 tick just dropped, so it may want to go down now. See, we had double clusters at this dev, laid this mini magnet to push down. So now we're back here at the bottom. Let's see if it has the strength to push through. I like this setup though. It laid this mini magnet here
They set up B on
with these double clusters.
potential TX on NQ.
Yep, there it goes. Those mini magnets tell you a whole lot.
Potential set up A on NQ. Potential TX on NQ. Trap orders with exhaustion box on NQ. Set up A on NQ. Potential TX on NQ.
So that should be, let's see. Yeah, that's the new low of the day. 807.50. Those clusters to the left on the 30 tick, it may come up and test those around the 820, 822 area. Because that happens a lot.
Double cluster
So it may come back up in this area around here where it dropped this paw and these double clusters. It may come back up and test that area. We're building up. Well, not HD because it's the first pullback. But I would definitely expect it to come back. We have a cluster on the current 30 tick bar. As many of you know, I've stated before, I won't take a trade if there's a cluster on the current 30 tick bar and it gives me a trade setup. I skip it. So actually, I would like this to move down even further. We do have 800 here. Excuse me. But we might, yeah, we can't. We need to get off this 30 tick bar now for me to take a trade. And if y'all didn't hear before, I don't take a trade if there's a cluster on the 30 tick bar, the current bar that we're on, because I've been bit too much by doing that in the past. So I kind of learned, I picked up on that it's not always a good idea for me. See how we have a cluster right there. So that means, because, a cluster, we know means there's a fight, right? There's a cluster of orders on both buy and sell side. So if you take a trade while we're still in that cluster, we don't know who's going to win that battle. I like to get off that bar first so I know kind of who's in more control, the buyers or the sellers. Oh, that's weird. You didn't print that mini magnet. I mean, it's really been for LRE because that's pretty much all I've ever really taken. But I don't know. I guess it could go for any trade if you really think about it. As I mentioned, buyers and sellers are still fighting, and we don't know unless you have like just a no-brainer setup, then it kind of doesn't matter. Let me double check, Todd. I know it was matching earlier, but let me double check. Yeah, room charts looks exactly like my 30 tick chart and all the rest of my charts. Oh, that's weird. I wonder if it was one of those order prints. Sometimes that can happen where it's just like extremely fast, where the data printed fast. I don't know. But here recently, I was actually really excited. This week, I had this past weekend, because I have Xfinity. They came out and finally moved my modem to my office where I have my trading computer. So now I'm finally hardwired in with the Ethernet cable, and I'm getting like 950 megabits per second straight to my computer. So that was pretty exciting. All right, so now we're kind of going sideways here. We're still on that bar with this cluster, so I'm going to wait. Even if this pulls up to where an LRE would be, I think it would, because an LRE would be up here at this flux, and I would like to take that short from here. My issue is that cluster. We're still with this cluster on the 30 tick, and we're kind of going sideways now. If it sets up like a potential Lorex or something to go short right here too, I might take it. But if there's nothing really setting up, because of that cluster on this bar, I'm going to stay out. Yep. Nothing set up, and now it's running up. Now it's running long, so I'm glad I stayed out. So now that 30 tick bar has closed. Now I know where our cluster is staying. Did have a little bit of a ODD, a little bit down here, 80%. Cluster here. See, came up and tested those clusters to the left that I mentioned. these here. So it's testing those now. And let's see where it goes from here. Simplicity did reset, though. You see it flipped green. So now I'd have to wait for another Simplicity run, either, short or long, before I look for an LRE again. Although if it goes long back up around to that dev, then I have to wait again because that was the choppy area. So I prefer it to go short, but let's wait and find out what it wants to do. Oh, man. Jeff. Dang. That's crazy. Did he get hurt at all? I'm assuming they took care of the cost to fix all that. Oh, dang. I don't know if you have kids. Could have just told them Santa fell through. All right, coming back to this bottom. Oh, I bet that scared the crap out of them. Morning, Nikita. No, I haven't taken a trade yet. We had some news at 8:30. Kind of seeing what the market wants to do here. Might be getting another Simplicity short at this bottom here. We have a setup bar, maybe. It's kind of going between red and green. All right, we have a setup bar. If this bar breaks below the setup bar on the Simplicity chart here, then we'll have an entry. Again, I'm looking for LREs. So if we do get an entry here, I'd like it to run. We do have the 800 level, so I'd have to be a little cautious of that, but I would like it to kind of run below it, like it's heading towards the dev, pull back up around this 800 level, or even at this bottom here that we're at now, somewhere in this area, and then go back short. We're pretty close to the dev, so depending on how it's looking, I may try to trail it to the dev, if that happens. Yeah, it got a little sideways on us there for a minute. There's still plenty of divergence, though. So, still possible. All right, now we may be, this 30-tick bar may be leaving this mini magnet on top of this ZOI if it heads down, if it closes at 802.50. That would be a nice push to go short. Right here, if this mini magnet holds up and the bar closes at 802.50, we will have a nice push short, I believe. We should. We need it to close at 802.50, which would be down here. See, we have triple clusters now. So if this closes at 802.50, I think we're going to have a run to the dev. Because triple clusters, there's a fight going on here. There's this mini magnet, Paul. And if the sellers win and comes down short, that mini magnet holds. Everything's telling me this is going to push down short to the dev. If this 30 tick bar closes short at 802.50. Almost there. So close.
Potential TX on NQ. Trap orders with exhaustion box on NQ.
Now it's losing. It's lost that mini magnet for the moment. And it just threw up a cluster on the 30 tick. Let me go ahead and pull that over. So now I'm losing confidence in the short. See, it lost the mini magnet, put up another cluster here. Yep. Now I've lost confidence in the short. So now I'm going to have to wait again and see what happens.
Double cluster NQ. Potential elevator on NQ. Potential TX on NQ. Trap orders with exhaustion box on NQ. Elevator on NQ.
Yeah, it's been pushing down for quite a while. Quite some time. Pretty much since midnight. All right, so now just waiting again. I really, really would have liked if that mini magnet stayed on that 30 tick bar and it would have closed short. That would have been nice. We're testing that area again around that 820 mark. See what it wants to do from here. Again, I kind of prefer it to go short because there's a lot of mess. If it goes long, that could cause some choppiness. Morning, Dan. So far, it's patience. There's a couple of moves. There's news, couple of moves, but lots of things telling me to stay out. Yeah, the market's been in an overall downtrend since about midnight last night. But, maybe for certain strategies, people trading could have gave them a short signal and they could just ride it down. Of course, with the Apex tools, we're scalpers. I just scalp. So I look for those entries with the high probabilities just to get in and out real quick. So that's why we're snipers. Patiently wait for that target. Yeah, actually, the volume is a lot higher than it's been the last couple days, but it is slow and choppy for sure right now. But because the volume has been last 2 days between like 80 to 90 something thousand, and right now it's at 143, almost 144,000. I think there's just a lot of indecision right now. which I don't like that, because when you have a lot of volume and a lot of indecision, then you'll get those random spikes. You know, it'll be crawling at a certain pace, and then all of a sudden it'll kind of shoot 10 points one way or the other because of that indecision. Then it'll get an influx of orders for one direction. Like right now, these clusters and scattered order prints on the 30 tick, I mean, just tells you, look at all that mess right here. The market just doesn't know what it wants to do. Now here's another one. I was talking about 802.50 earlier. If this bar back here closed with the mini magnet short at 802.50, I thought it would push down. We might get that again. Clusters, indecision. If this bar closes at 802.50 with this mini magnet, that may be our push down to the dev. And it looks like Simplicity is trying to give us a setup short. So here's another maybe opportunity to go short to the dev if this closes at 802.50. We have a setup bar forming on Simplicity. Again, I'm looking for LREs only though right now. Okay, that bar closed at 802.50 to the tick. We have a setup bar. Let's see if we get an entry bar below this flux. Okay, we have an entry bar now. All signs are pointing to run to the dev for me. And what I want to see is it kind of get to the vicinity, not hit the dev, not get too close, but kind of come down in this area around 793-ish. Pull back up and test this area and give me a nice short LRE. Or if it just wants to go on ahead and blow past the dev and then pull back up somewhere. Dan, I have a market analyzer up. If you go to new and then market analyzer, it'll pull this up. And then I put the instruments there, and then I add the bid ask spread, daily high, daily low, daily volume, and then days until rollover. So I kind of monitor those things. All right, it's testing that mini magnet that it just laid. And it looks like it's might want to lay another mini magnet there. So definitely if it lays this other mini magnet there, it'd be even more of a sign that it wants to run short. It has to close at 798.75 to confirm that mini magnet here. And you can see them on my 10 tick being copied over the dotted lines. Yeah, so we had the setup bar because both lines were angling short, angling down in red. And then the entry bar broke the low of that bar. So there was an entry for Simplicity. So now it's back to testing that. It tested that mini magnet I was mentioning, and it's trying to lay another mini magnet on it. Right there. So if this closes at 798.75, then I mean I don't see any reason why it doesn't go now. Oh, yeah. Yep, not LRE yet. It is close to getting there. 798.75. There it goes. That bar closed. Now, I mean, I'm not seeing, of course, the market, anything can happen, but I'm not seeing any reason why this doesn't go down to the dev. Unless it just wants to continue to chop and be not cooperative, which is possible. Yeah, Dan. So if you go to on the Ninja Trader, go to New, and then you'll see a option to click Market Analyzer, and then it'll open this, and then you just type in which markets you want, and then on the columns up here, you'll add a row, a label row, and then I select bid ask spread, daily high, daily low, and daily volume, and then how many days until it rollover. So New and then Market Analyzer. Yeah, if I was in this simplicity, I would have it about 5 points behind that. So my stop would be at about 815. So it'd be getting close to hitting that stop. But I'm not in the, I didn't take the trade because I'm looking for LREs only. Back to my bread and butter. Okay, now we do have a hugger. So market did end up just chopping and then laid a mini magnet here. So then we had this choppy space between mini magnets. Now we have these three: top mini magnet, bottom mini magnet, and double in the middle. So this is a very choppy, could be a very choppy area. But as we see, it already had a lot of chop. So now I'm back to no real signal of where it's going to go. All signs pointed short. It didn't do it. Also, that was the daily low. So more waiting. Bon dia, Lewis. Yeah, I haven't taken anything. Just kind of reading the market. Some reads have been what they should be, and some, like just recently, everything told me this thing was going to go short to the dev. It tried, chopped, laid a mini magnet going long, and now it's probably going to, I don't know, may chop again. Might not be cooperating today. But flat, no trades is better than a red day by taking a mistake. Like a bad trade that you shouldn't have. But it laying that mini magnet on the bottom of the 30 tick there too could tell us that, hey, that's the bottom now. We chopped clusters. We tried to go low. That's the 800 level. Just below the 800 level, it hit 798. Laid a mini magnet. If this thing starts running long for a while, that could be the bottom. It's kind of a JFT. I mean, it's clearly in your face divergent for sure. But there was a lot of chop on that dev before it broke down into divergence on the 50 tick. Let me see. Let me pull that over real quick. You see, it's clearly divergent. You have the DR here very high, Big hill, little hill. Pulled back, but then this has a lot of chop going sideways. So, I mean, you could take it as a JFT, I guess, but it was just kind of a lot of sideways motion there, and it did leave that mini magnet on the 30 tick on the bottom. Yeah, that chop in the middle kind of messes it up a little bit. It's not very clean, but it is divergent for sure. So that's another signal that maybe we could be running long. I don't either. So, I mean, I wouldn't take it as a JFT because of that. I like it, just like our ODDs and HDs. We like a clean run down, pull back, lower low with divergence, few bar pullback, no chop. Yeah, see, now we're pushing up. There was a simplicity entry back here. Technically, an entry was at about 817, 817.25. Going back into this mini magnet on the 30 tick. So we'll see if it continues pushing up. If it continues pushing up, I might be inclined to take an LRE before it gets to the dev. Like if it pushes up and then comes back down to this 30 tick mini magnet and gives me something strong, HD, SLZ off of it, something to go with it, that might be a possibility. But I need it to move long, in a good manner, not in a choppy manner. Like I want it to tell me, hey, I'm going long, not a crawling choppy long, which it very well could crawl because looking left on the 30 tick, that's where we had those double clusters, ZOIs, kind of a bunch of a mess. So we'll see. And then, we still have the elections, midterms going on, early voting happening. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still trying to get over my allergies, I guess, sinuses. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I've been trying to kind of fight a little bit of a cold or if it's just allergies or what. Yeah, one of those where you feel congested and then my eyes are itchy and burny. A little bit of a cough, sneezing. Don't know.
Potential elevator on NQ.
On the 50 tick,
Potential TX on NQ.
oh, for the eye blocks. On the 30 tick, I just leave the standard, whatever the template is, the 30 tick plain. Yeah, ES is the default, but on the 30 tick charts, you shouldn't need to mess with the settings on those. It's just the 10 tick. But yeah, it's 50 for NQ on the 10 tick, but on the 30 tick charts, you shouldn't have to mess with them. They should be fine. All right, we do have a nice long pushing. So let's see if we get a pullback before it hits the dev. Even if it hits the dev, I'm not going to rule out an LRE because, you know, up here we have these 3 clusters, mini magnets here. This is kind of a nice area. This is that 822, 820 area that I've been kind of mentioning all morning. There is a cluster on the 30 tick there. If it pulls back around this area, I might be interested. I don't like this up here though. This mini magnet, these 2 mini magnets and clusters and cluster. So we'll see. An LRE would be at 823.75 right off this top of this ZOI here. Again, I don't really like this. So if it pulls straight down to it, with some HD, I'll probably take it. If it's kind of get a little chop coming back down and lays some more order prints coming back down, then I'll probably skip it.
Potential setup A, setup B on NQ. Potential TX on
I definitely appreciate that, Lewis. Again, I mean, I really don't do these that much for me, so. But I definitely appreciate it. I do rewatch all my videos, though, after, because the replays are up after I'm done trading. So I can see what I did right or wrong. All right, we're pulling back. We just left a 3rd bar sling on the 10 tick. It's not a setup, it's just a sling. But we might get an LRE here at that level I was mentioning. No HD, but I'm in it because it's that level that I was talking about. My take profit is just under where that 3rd bar sling is on the 10 tick. Let's see if this thing holds up or if we're just going to push. Yep, it just pushed right through. Okay, yeah. This might go ahead and that might be as far long as it's going to pull up to. Might start heading all the way back down now.
double cluster NQ.
Yeah, double clusters here on the 10 tick. Let's see. 18. The one time it paid off. Yeah, it came down to that level that I liked, that area. And I was really thinking it could give me enough with that HD building up that it could give me enough to come off of this level, off this area. And since it laid this 3rd bar sling up here, sometimes it'll come up and test it. But in this case, it just pushed. It just pushed right down. Make sure everything's closed out. Yeah. Okay. Everything took my trades the way it should have. Unlike the last time. We're heading back down to that area on the 30 tick that it was right in this area with all the clusters, choppiness. So let's see. where it wants to go from here. Let's see, my entry, 822.50. Oh, man. Yeah, I hate whenever you have to reload and things, and then it ends up eating up so much of your time. All right, Richard, I'll see you. See you later. Have a great day. Yeah, it is getting pretty close. I'm not really expecting to get another trade because if this does continue short, it may chop around a little bit, and we have about 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes till the open, about 5 minutes until the dark zone. So give it a few minutes here and see if something happens. If it breaks below this area, this paw here. Let me see. It looks like, Jeff, it looks like the room chart's lagging. If you look at the time on the bottom, I see 8:50, and then yours is at 8:58. Yeah, actually, let me see if it's still. It looks like it's fine now. Oops. But from that screenshot, it looks like your chart is ahead. Well, but the price is about the same. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Because I was going to say, it looks like yours is ahead of the room chart from the screenshot. One, two, three, one, two. Yeah, right now, mine is matching up with the room chart. Futures trading in the future. Yep, couple minutes away from dark zone. And not looking like another setup is coming anytime soon for me. So I'm going to call it a day. One LRE that lost today. No problem. Tomorrow's Friday. If I hit my profit target tomorrow, I'll still have a profitable week, even with the losing trade today and the other loss that I took earlier in the week. So we'll see. And we still have a whole lot of month ahead of us. thanks everybody for joining me today.
Potential TX
And for those of you that are still going to be trading, trade well. And I hope y'all have a great day. See y'all later.